Hello world. Just give me a sec.
Okay, let's see what we got. I don't know, I think I like this one the most. Thanks for help, Google. You're still evil, though.
Great, so we're making eclairs. Now, I did some research, and I found that eclair anatomy is actually pretty simple. There's just 3 parts to it. Let me show you.
The outer part is the pastry shell. It's made with dough, which is called pâte à choux. The tastiest part is, of course, the filling, because it's just fat and sugar. It goes inside the shell like that. And the last part is the icing. It provides additional flavor and makes the eclairs look prettier.
Technically, it's optional. You can just eat the shell with the filling. I've seen people do it. But I think decorating your eclairs is very important. It can make all the difference between something that's just ordinary and something that makes you go, holy cow! And the latter is exactly what we're going for here today. So let's get on with it.
First, pâte à choux. I'm gonna take a heaping cup of flour and sift it. Then in a saucepan, I'm gonna combine half a cup of each milk and water. Well, I'll do a wild in cups because I imagine myself as John Wick. 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar. Half teaspoon of salt. And half a cup of half a cup of butter. Then I'm gonna get the whole thing hot to make it boil. And when it does, I'm gonna take it off the stove and very carefully add the flour that I sifted earlier. Then I'm gonna stir it with a spatula to bring it together. And when it's all smooth and looks like mashed potatoes, I'm gonna put it on medium heat again and continue stirring for like 5 minutes or so. No, I can get a break. So I'm removing excess moisture this way and cooking the flour. It sounds so smart. The dough should leave a film on the bottom of the pan. At least if the pan is not non-stick. Okay, time's up. I'm gonna move it to a bowl and mix it a bit and just let it sit there because it needs to cool down somewhat before the next step, which is incorporating the eggs. I'm gonna add 4 of them one at a time. Initially, the dough kind of breaks down, but as I continue to stir, it comes back together. When it doesn't look as wet anymore, it's time to add another egg. 4 eggs in, it looks like this. Soft and smooth. I'm kind of proud. Let's get it into a piping bag with a French start tip. Doing this is oddly satisfying. But what's even more satisfying is piping the eclairs. Now I'm gonna fix the tips with a wet finger, and then generously dust the eclairs with powdered sugar. Now these little beauties are finally ready to get golden brown with texture like the sun. So in the oven at 350 F180C they go, and 45 minutes later they look like this. Oh yeah, please do all that. Okay, now the pastry cream. First I'm gonna make the egg mixture. I'm gonna crack a couple eggs into a bowl. And then add a 1/4 cup of cornstarch. Then whisk together until really smooth. It's important to have no clumps here, so I'm gonna take my time. Okay, done. I'm gonna set it aside for now and get my hot plate. And this is the best brand name ever, by the way. Okay, in a sauce pot, I'm gonna add 1 cup of milk and 1 cup of heavy cream. Cups akimbo again, because I'm still living out my John Wick fantasy. Take that, pan. And also take 1/2 cup of sugar. And a pinch of salt. Lastly, I'm gonna vanilla my milk mixture with fake vanilla. And John Wick the burner on to medium heat. I need to bring my milk mixture to a simmer, and then pour some of it in my egg mixture, whisking constantly to prevent eggs from scrambling. Next, I'm going to strain it back in, get the saucepan back on the heat, and whisk constantly. I need the thing to thicken, and look, that's exactly what's happening. A couple of minutes later, it's gonna start to boil, but it's noticeable only if I stop bothering it for a moment. I'm gonna keep stirring for another minute, and then remove the pot from the heat and carefully give it a hug. Then I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of butter in one easy motion, and stir until it melts. All I have to do now is transfer it to a bowl, play with it a little bit, cover it with a small piece of plastic wrap, and then set it aside. Now I'm going to add 1 cup of chilled heavy cream in a bowl, and then I'm gonna go to town on it with a whisk. I'm doing this because I'm not just gonna use plain pastry cream for the filling. I'm gonna fancy it up by adding whipped cream, because I want to increase the percentage of cow-derived material in the end product. It goes with the theme, you'll see. Whipping cream by hand, of course, is not an easy task. To increase my chances, I'm using this ingenious technique. Look, it hurts my hands a bit, but it's very effective. Well, it's definitely whipped. I think I may have overdone it. Now I need to combine my whipped cream with my pastry cream. For that, I gently fold in the whipped cream, adding it little by little. Hey, maybe my bowl's too small. Oh look, my bowl's exactly the right size. Okay, let's load all that cream into a piping bag. Turns out this particular kind of cream is hard to get through a small hole of a filling tip. So instead I'm using this small star tip to fill the shells. The process is simple. Fill the first hole, turn the thing around, fill the second hole, repeat. Okay, I got all of them filled. Now I'm gonna make the glaze. I'm gonna set up a double boiler. For that I need to get a saucepan, add some water to it, put a heat-safe bowl inside it, and bring the water to a boil. In the bowl then goes 1 cup of white chocolate chips and 6 tablespoons of coconut oil. I'm gonna give it a stir every now and then to help it melt. And then I'm gonna start adding my powdered sugar in parts and stirring it in. I need this glaze to be pretty thick, so I ended up adding around 1.5 cups. When I'm finally happy with the consistency, I'm going to mix in a little bit of a white powdered food coloring. And that's pretty much it. I just need to move the glaze into a nice white dish that allows for easy dipping. I'm also gonna make a black version. It is scaled down, but basically the same recipe. Double boiler, chocolate, but this time really dark, coconut oil, melt real good, powdered sugar, and food coloring. I'm using activated charcoal paste. It works great. That's all I'm gonna need. It isn't black. It needs a bit more of that paste. That'll be enough for sure. Still isn't black. A tiny bit more, but that's it. Fine, here's more just to be safe. Come on, it's brown. Well, what else is there to do? Oh, we're getting there. Just a splash of water, and look, deep beautiful blackness. At last. Now we're ready to decorate. And what I'm going for is a cow pattern. First, I'm dunking the eclair into the white glaze and letting gravity take some of it back. I'm helping it a bit by shaking the thing. Look how beautiful and shiny it is. But we don't need shiny, so I'm gonna dust it with powdered sugar. This is gonna help the glaze to set and give it a matte finish, which is what I want for this design. And now I'm gonna leave the frame to blow the excess powder off over the sink. See, it looks exactly like a cow without its markings. And now I'm gonna add some using the black glaze. And then dust the eclair again and blow the excess powder off over the sink. Which I can't show you because I forgot to press record. Come on, it's my first time. Anyway, after 10 minutes in the fridge, it looks perfect. I'll just tidy it up with a soft brush, repeat a bunch of times, and then ta-da! But while the cow eclairs are great, I want to make them even more extra special by turning them into the holy cow eclairs. How I'm gonna do it? I'm gonna give them halos. For that, I'm gonna use canned peaches. I'm gonna cut the halves crosswise, and then take a slice and cut up some of the edge to get a semicircle. This will make a great halo for my eclair. Let's try it on. Wow, look what happened. It is levitating. What a miracle. Can't believe it. Look, there's no trick, it's legit. Anyway, back to the peaches. Here I'm using a round object as a guide for cutting. This gives me better results. This halo is definitely neater. But just simply cutting the peach into strips works too. Oh, and here's a pineapple version. But to me it doesn't look as good. What do you think? Anyway, after some more fruit carving, I finally present to you the holy cow eclairs. Oh, they look so good. I need to take a bite immediately. Hey, stop spinning.
I mean, holy cow.
Okay.
Oh, please like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. See ya.